If you clicked on this video, you are already familiar with NoFap and semen retention, and you probably just started your journey or have been on this path for quite some time. And you already know that there's lots of content about men claiming about different superpowers that they've been able to gain and experience, and also a lot of guys talking about how long of a streak they were able to maintain. Well, in today's video, I'm not going to talk about how to get a long streak or how to avoid relapses. There's enough content out there for you to check out to build your own strategy, because everybody's journey with this is going to be absolutely unique. But today's video, my intention is to share with you what I've learned over the past 5 years using this and integrating semen retention and NoFap in my life. And I'm going to share with you 4 of the major ways that will absolutely change your life. And I hope that these are some of the benefits and superpowers that you'll come to experience on your path as well. So let's jump into it. So the first way that NoFap and semen retention absolutely changed my life was it helped me to increase my level of self-discipline tenfold. Now, out of everything that I was addicted to, there was weed, there was alcohol, there was cigarettes, overcoming my addiction to fapping to a screen was the absolute hardest one to overcome. And I think it's because this is an addiction that many of us men have secretly lived with for a large portion of our lives. It's something that we were doing at a very early age, and that started out of sheer curiosity about sexuality, and eventually transitioned into something that we used to cope when life got hard, when things got stressful, when we were experiencing pain. And it was very easy to turn to because A, it was free, B, it was accessible at any time, and C, we could do it in the privacy of our own home without anybody knowing. And that's what made it the hardest one to break, because it was something that I could secretly go to, that nobody knew about, but it was my way of coping with some of my most painful and stressful times in my life. Once I was able to overcome that addiction, it then gave me the strength and courage to now start looking at my relationship with my other vices. So my relationship with alcohol, with cigarettes, as well as weed. And when I looked at why I started these things in the first place, again, it started as something to be curious about, to socialize with other people, especially smoking weed. I've met some of my absolute friends for life through smoking weed at an early age. But over time, these became, again, coping mechanisms, things that I turned to when things get rough, when things got stressful, when things got painful in my life. And because I was able to overcome my addiction to fapping and watching the screen, it made it that much easier to start taking a look at these vices and start eliminating them slowly. Not only that, because I felt confident and I felt strength in overcoming my hardest addiction, I really started to focus on my own physical and mental health. And when it came to physical health, that's when I started going to the gym. This all started 5 years ago when I went through my divorce. And that's when I first discovered NoFap. And so as soon as I started going to the gym, that also helped me recognize that these vices are not helping me progress on my fitness journey. And that made it that much easier to eliminate them. And now I'm proud to say that I've been able to eliminate alcohol for over 2 years, cigarettes and weed for over 4 years. And now, without the screen to rely on, I feel absolutely liberated and free from my vices, but most importantly, my relationship with how I cope and manage and deal with stress and pain is way more healthier. I feel stronger to face life's everyday challenges, and I know that that's never going to end, but I now have replaced them with healthy habits that has helped me to make me feel more confident in facing what life has ahead of me for the rest of my time on this planet. So my level of discipline has increased tenfold. And in the past, when I wasn't responsible with my addiction to the screen and I tried quitting things like alcohol and cigarettes, it was very, very difficult because I wasn't there yet mentally. But going on NoFap and semen retention was really the catalyst for me to finally eliminate those vices from my life once and for all. Now, the second way that NoFap and semen retention has absolutely changed my life is it helped me to restore a healthy and natural relationship with my own sexuality. Now, if you're like me and you grew up in the 80s and 90s, we grew up being able to access this type of adult content through VHS tapes, through DVDs, going to the video store, looking at it on magazines. So this is something that we were doing for quite some time. And you got to imagine when you've conditioned your brain, your mind to look at sex in the way that it's portrayed in videos, in magazines, and now on online streaming sites, you start to believe that that's what women want and that's how sex should be. And I can remember for many, many years as I went through, different relationships in my life, and when I got intimate with women, it wasn't really what I expected. I never felt connected with a woman, and the sex wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. But once you go through a long streak of semen retention and NoFap, and you've conditioned your mind to no longer look at sex in the way that these videos and magazines and streaming sites portray it as, you essentially reset your mind and you start to stop objectifying women and the act of sex as simply just an act. And you start to now notice more of the natural beauty in women. But more importantly, you recognize that one of the most profound experiences that you can have with a woman is being able to have sex once you have deep emotional connection with them. And because I was able to go on semen retention and NoFap for many long streaks before I got into relationships and had physical intimacy with a woman, the times that I had after I started NoFap and semen retention with women were absolutely mind-blowing. I still remember the first time that I had sex with my first girlfriend after I went through my divorce. At that time, I was on NoFap for almost a year. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And it wasn't because I was like lusting after a woman and I wasn't even thinking about a sexual act. That's one thing that really took away from my own intimacy with a woman, was when I'd have sex, I would be thinking about the video or the people that I was watching on the screen. That wasn't the case at all. I was so present in the moment with my girlfriend. We were able to deeply and emotionally connect, and sex was just absolutely mind-blowing. And that's been my experience since I've stayed on NoFap and semen retention. Each woman that I've been able to have relationships with, and especially have physical intimacy with, it's been the absolute best sex of my life, better than what I had in my 20s and 30s. And to be perfectly honest with you, this was one of my biggest insecurities that I lived with for a majority of my life. And to be quite frank, I truly believe it was one of the things that held me back from being fully confident and feeling myself in front of people, and especially women. I had this deep down shame thinking that because I'm an Asian guy, there's those stereotypes that Asian guys can't please women because they either are small or that, they're Asians aren't very attractive. That's absolutely false, but it was only after I went on NoFap and semen retention and had these experiences with women where I recognized that I'm absolutely capable of having pleasurable experiences with women. Not only that, being able to please them in the way that they want to be pleased. And that could have only happened when I overcame my addiction, because now I wasn't focusing on thinking about what I was watching on the screen when I was with a woman. I was being present in the moment with them and being able to deeply connect with them. And so once I was able to experience mind-blowing sex after I started NoFap and semen retention, that helped me to overcome that shameful insecurity that I was living with for many, many years. This was an insecurity that was holding me back from being confident and being authentic and genuine with people. Because I always used to think, well, if I couldn't please a woman in real life, maybe I'm not that high value of a person in general. And that's absolutely not true. but that's an insecurity that I had to live with, and I was finally able to overcome that because I was on semen retention and NoFap and had these wonderful, amazing, intimate experiences with women. So that leads me to the third way that it absolutely changed my life, is that my social interactions, my ability to connect with people, men and women, were increased significantly. And again, going back to the point where your mind isn't always lusting for sex, then you are more comfortable in just being yourself and being present in the moment to actually connect with someone without any ulterior motive. And once you're on this path for quite some time, I started to experience this at least a couple years into my journey during NoFap and semen retention. Once your mind is completely reset and you're no longer thinking about sex as a primary thought in your head, when it comes to connecting with men and especially women, they can tell when you think a certain way, especially towards women or about sex. And high quality women have high sex drives, but they have complete control over it. That's not their main motivating factor in terms of connecting with people or a main conversation topic. In fact, like once you get rid of this whole idea that you constantly need to be thinking about sex or when is it gonna be the next time I'm gonna get laid, you then can be present in the moment with someone, have a conversation with them without thinking about converting it into an opportunity for yourself to hook up, if that makes sense. And in my experience, when I've connected with men and especially women, when my main intention was simply to have stimulating conversation, get to know them, it's led to me building my new tribe of men and women in this next chapter of my life after my divorce. Where I currently live, I don't have any of my best friends or any family here. They all live in cities outside of here. So I needed to find a way to build a new tribe. So if you are looking to make new best friends or to build a circle of friends that you can trust and who will be there to support you, going on NoFap and semen retention will absolutely help, because it will remove these lustful thoughts. It'll help you overcome a lot of the insecurities that you've been hiding from society for many, many years, that will in a way help you to now feel comfortable being in your own skin, knowing that you're worthy and being able to present yourself as such to other people. And once you're able to overcome that inner shame of not feeling worthy because of maybe perhaps you were worried that you couldn't sexually please a woman, and you're able to now be authentic and genuine when you present yourself to other people, especially if you have great values and integrity. Not only will you be able to build strong connections with men and women, but you then reach the fourth and final life-changing moment when you realize that you've become way more attractive to women. Now, this is a superpower that I know it's talked about a lot in men's communities, how when you go on long streaks of semen retention and NoFap, that female attraction goes up. Well, it does go up, but not in the way that you think about it. It's not like you go on a long streak and all of a sudden women are going to start coming up to you and start chasing you, asking you for a number and wanting to hook up with you. That's not the case at all. When you become more attractive, it's because you're no longer dealing with vices. You're no longer, you're in control of your emotions. So you have emotional stability. You build up resilience towards stress and pain and have adopted healthy ways to deal with it. So physically and mentally, you appear a lot healthier to a woman. And overcoming some of the deep insecurities that you've had have now allowed you to present yourself as being more authentic and genuine. When a woman sees a man in that state, someone who's confident in themselves, someone who is calm, cool, and collected in stressful situations or even in social interactions, but most importantly is authentic and genuine and unapologetic to just simply be themselves and be comfortable with that, that's what makes you the most attractive, not just to women, but especially high quality women. These are high quality women who are also of the same mindset, who also own their own emotional health, mental health, physical health, who own their own happiness. And if ever you've been trying to attract a high quality woman, this is the way to do it. This is why a lot of men in the community, when they talk about doing NoFap and semen retention, they say it's one of the most important tools in your own personal development, is because it will help you enhance all these different areas of your life. And when you enhance all these areas of your life, and you meet a high quality woman who is of the same mindset, who also works on themselves, that's what they find very attractive, because now they know that they're dealing with a man who is not lusting after them, who has ulterior motives. They're dealing with a real masculine man who owns their life, who has control of their life, who is passionate about a lot of things, who is healthy. Why wouldn't a high quality woman like that? And that's been my absolute experience. Since I've been doing this for over 5 years, I feel like I'm able to easily attract high quality women in my life, especially when I'm interacting with them and being introduced to them through friends and family. And that's been the biggest life changer. I think for many of us men, we want to know that we can attract a high quality woman. And once you reach that stage, you feel like everything is possible in your life. And that's where the full freedom, that sense of freedom comes in. And it feels so liberating to finally be in a place where you know that everything that you want in your life is within your reach. You just need to take steps forward there. But it all starts with adopting a tool, an effective tool like semen retention and NoFap in your life. So I hope this message finds you at the right time and it keeps you motivated and inspired to stay on this path. In my experience doing this over 5 years, I have relapsed, I have failed, but I've also gone on long streaks, up to 1 year streaks at certain times. So I've been through all the ups and downs, but the main thing is, it's not about the streak. This is a lifestyle change. So if you slip, if you relapse, just get back up, get right back on it. Many of us who've been able to maintain this for a long period of time have had to go through a lot of those challenges. And this is just part of the journey. But I guarantee you, once you stay on this path and you are able to get to a level of consistency where you no longer need to worry about the streak anymore, where you know this is part of your lifestyle, you'll start to see these areas of your life change. So thank you again for all of your support. I really appreciate you guys. I'd love to hear in your comments below, are there other ways that semen retention and NoFap has changed your life? But I hope this finds you at the right time. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace out.